call the January 14th, 2014 regular meeting of the school board to order. Welcome to all of you that are with us, and Happy New Year to all of you as well. It's been a long time since we were together, and it's nice to see so many of you back and with us tonight. If you would please at this time stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be assisted in that with the players from Forest Grove Middle School. Welcome. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the kids at Hope pledge. As an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe all children are capable of success, no exceptions. each of you. Mr. Esau, welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. How long have you been at Forest Grove?
This is my third year at Forest Grove.
All with the band?
Yes.
You've brought these students a long way. Thank you for sharing them with us tonight. Do you mind if I talk to a couple of your students?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Haley? Is it Haley? Is that right? Yes. Didn't know we were going to single you out, huh? Tell me a little bit about why you're part of the music program at your school.
Because music is great for, it's just good for you and it's interesting and you have a lot of fun.
And how long have you participated in the band?
3 years this year.
And did you start have any musical inclination prior to that? No. Okay. So do you intend to keep this up through high school? Good. Wonderful. And Jay, another one on the spot. Jay, tell us, welcome. First of all, you did a great job on that solo. Congratulations. Tell us why you're interested in the music program at your school.
Well, I was kind of born into a musical family. My dad and my mom have been participating in choirs since high school, and they kind of brought me up throughout music. And my dad played baritone in middle school, and I thought it would be awesome for me to play the same instrument as my dad. And
your mom and dad here by chance? Stand up, Mom and Dad, and brothers and sisters. Have a great prodigy. Any other parents of students, parents, friends, relatives? Stand up and let us appreciate you, please. Thank you. In the background. Well, thank you so much, young ladies and gentlemen, for being here with us tonight and entertaining us. And you know, you guys are the reason that we do what we do, and so thank you very much for making it such a rewarding experience for all of us. And thank you to you for the gifts you bring to your students. And we'll give you a few minutes to filter out. And parents, family members, thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing your students with us. As they're finalizing their departure from the boardroom, just a reminder, it's been a month since we had our initiation with the board docs, so just a few logistical things before we begin items that are requiring a vote from us. We will vote verbally as well as electronically. When I call for the vote, if you would just say out loud your vote, and at the same time click on the proper box on the screen in front of you, okay? And if there is any discrepancy getting to Mrs. Harrison, she will alert me to that fact, and we will stop there and be sure that we have it correct. And I promise you, audience, the more we do this, it will be seamless, and you won't even know it's happening up here, but just bear with us for a little bit as we get used to multitasking and doing it verbally and electronically. Board members comfortable with everybody's up and okay. At this point, then, we will open the public hearing and, first of all, receive the recommendation from our superintendent. Mrs. Yost?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recommend that the board adopt the proposed amendments to School Board Policies 3.44, 4.151, 6.62, and 7.70 as presented.
Are there any members of the audience that wish to speak to any of these policy changes? Seeing none come forward, board members, we will now vote. We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Hensley, second by Dr. Mills. And Mrs. Harrison, if you will open for vote. You're showing that it's open? Okay. No. Okay, a little technology help. Okay, there we go. All right, board members, we have a recommendation, a motion, and a second. All in favor, please say and vote aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Reflect that, Mrs. Harrison? Wonderful. Love it when it's successful. Thank you. We will move then to the minutes. And Madam Superintendent?
I recommend the board approve the minutes of December 10th, 12th, and 17th, 2013 as presented.
Board members, we have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? So moved. Moved by Mrs. Hilson. Second by Mrs. Hensley. Open for vote. All in favor, please say and vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And now we will move, before we do that, let me remind you that if any of you in the audience wish to be an unscheduled speaker with us tonight, please pick up the form in the back of the room and get it up to Mrs. Harrison before we reach item number 8, which is the consent agenda item. Okay, and we will now move to our special orders of business. Madam Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am. As we present these, of course, we'd like you to join us up front, Mrs. Hawley. The first item is our very special Arts Florida November 2013 Student of the Month for VSA Florida Award winner. And so Dan Galloway, I believe, as well as from Dale Cassens Educational Center, as well as Principal Ellen Harden, will be coming forward to introduce our Student of the Month and share a little bit of information regarding his award-winning project at this time. Thank you.
Superintendent Yost, honored board members, this is Jesus Dominguez and his parents. I'm very honored to be Jesus's teacher. He's a wonderful art student with the most vivid imagination, but better than that, he's a great kid and he's a wonderful student. He comes to school every day, And I just love having him in my classroom. I want to show you this picture. This is the picture that we submitted to VSA Arts. He won the award, I believe, because of the detail and the imagination. I know it's going to be hard for people to see it, but Jesus can take my theme and go with it and come up with things that I would never even think of. So it's just a wonderful thing. And Marcy Purdy with VSA Arts is right here. She's going to be presenting Jesus the award. This award, it goes to one student throughout the state of Florida once a month. So it's a huge honor for Jesus. Okay, Marcy.
Thank you very much. I have the great pleasure and honor of presenting this beautiful sculpture to Jesus for the work he's done with VSA. And as Dan mentioned, this is quite an honor, one student per month throughout the state. So congratulations, great work. And Jesus shared with me the fact that he has great imagination with everything he does. There's also a nice gift for you in there, so thank you so much.
Yes, I would say that I believe I have great imagination, and thank you all for being here. So after all, it makes me believe that I do have an imagination. So it makes me feel like you people like my imagination. It makes me realize that it's true, and I can make anything in life. So I can make anything as long as I'm willing to, and so all of you. So thank you all for being here. Thank you.
I can't go past that. He did a fantastic job.
It's a pretty creative trophy that he has as well. Okay. That's beautiful. We'll move to the next order of business, which is our National Mentoring Month proclamation for this month, January 2014. We have Miss Sabrina Seam from Big Brothers Big Sisters volunteer. She's a volunteer recruiter and the vice president of our programs, Miss Jenny Palm, who will read the proclamation designating the month of January 2014 as National Mentoring Month for School Board Adoption. Ladies.
Good evening. Sabrina, unfortunately, is sick this evening, so Caitlin and I are here in her place. Thank you all for being here. I'm Jenny Palm. I'm the Vice President of Programs with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and since 1984, Big Brothers Big Sisters of St. Lucie County has worked tirelessly to provide children facing adversity with strong and enduring, professionally supported, one-to-one relationships that change their lives for the better forever. We've served more than 1,600 children this year and have many more waiting. Mentoring is simple. We ask that our mentors spend an hour a week or 4 hours a month as a friend with a child on our waiting list. We currently have 434 children waiting for a mentor. We would like to recognize the mentors that have stepped up to better their community, and without them, many children would have been lost in adolescence. To thank our mentors, we have a pancake breakfast on National Thank Your Mentor Day. The breakfast will be held at Applebee's on Okeechobee Road on Thursday the 16th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. please call 772-466-8535 to RSVP for the free breakfast. At this time, we would like to thank the members of our local government and the community at large. We'd like to ask them to think about the 434 children waiting to receive a mentor. And we ask that you use the observance of National Mentoring Month to get involved by signing up to be a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters and passing on the knowledge. Together, we can ensure that the children of our community will achieve success in life.
National Mentoring Month Proclamation, January 2014. Whereas every day Big Brothers Big Sisters works to provide children facing adversity with strong and enduring professionally supported one-to-one relationships that change their lives for the better forever. And whereas mentoring is a proven effective strategy that helps children by matching them with a caring, responsible adult who can provide guidance and direction and build their confidence. And whereas research shows that mentoring has beneficial and long-term effects on youth by increasing their academic engagement and decreasing the likelihood of substance abuse and other risky behaviors. And whereas dozens of St. Lucie County children are in need of a caring adult mentor in their life, and closing this mentoring gap will take more investment, partnerships, and volunteers ready to make a difference in a child's life. And whereas the School Board of St. Lucie County recognizes that our success depends on helping every child reach their full potential in life, and realizes that young people need a solid foundation of support that will help them become well-educated, confident, and productive citizens. And now, therefore, the School Board of St. Lucie County will proclaim January 2014 as National Mentoring Month, and call upon the people of St. Lucie County to recognize the importance of mentoring, to look for opportunities to serve as mentors in their communities, and to observe this month with appropriate activities and programs.
And before the board takes action, because Ms. Hawley will need to return to her computer for that vote, could we take a photo real quick with these young ladies? Come on. I recommend the board adopt the proclamation designating the month of January 2014 as National Mentoring Month as presented.
So move. Oops. Board members, we have a recommendation and we have a motion from Dr. Mills. Do I hear a second? Second by Ms. Hilson. Open for the vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And whoop.
I had a little technical problem.
Okay.
Give me just a second. Can we come back to it, or do I have? Okay.
No, we need to. Did it register, Ms. Harrison? Okay. Do we have to open all of it again, or can just the one that didn't? It's okay.
Before zero.
She entered for her.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
Okay. Have all 5 now? Wonderful. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, little technicalities. Before we leave this portion, though, I would like to ask any members of the audience who mentor through Big Brothers Big Sisters, whether it be individually or have mentors in your classroom, in your schools, if you would stand, please. Oh, come on. I know there's some mentors.
As well as
And
perhaps
and
in their schools,
school-based-
administrators,
school-based
if you have school-based
administrators.
volunteers.
Well, ladies, for those that didn't stand, maybe you can get to them before the night is over and see if they. That's right. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, at this time then, Madam Superintendent, we will move on to recognition, rewards, and reclaim.
Yes, ma'am. This is a new category for our board meetings, and I'd like to ask Ms. Michelle Jerger to come to the podium, please. She is our Director of Student Assignment, and she will describe a new STAR program. STAR standing for Special Thanks and Recognition that she would like to roll out this evening in recognition of our employees. Ms. Jerger?
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Yost. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening about our STAR program. STAR stands for, as Ms. Yost says, Special Thanks and Recognition. We see that there is an opportunity for us to show our sincere appreciation for the work that is done each and every day. We want to be able to reach out to our employees to generate new ideas that are generating new ideas, innovative methods, and proactive solutions within our school system. With the STAR, our main goal is to improve employee morale and reward employees. Now, as with any program, we want our program to be sincere recognitions. We want it to be ongoing, timely, and really focus on the true skills and behaviors that our employees are exhibiting. When you reward people for the job that they do and they've done it right, it also extends out to others. The total objective are the 3 R's: recognize, reward, and reclaim. We want, again, to recognize those employees for the behaviors and skills that they demonstrate that correlate with our overall district vision. We will reward those employees that demonstrate the behaviors that we're looking for and the outcomes that we're looking for. By doing that, we want our employees that show these great skills and behaviors to go out and reclaim those employees who are passive about the jobs that they do. Not many that are out there, but we want to ensure that we are reaching everyone. As we cruise to excellence through our STAR program, again, reiterating that we are truly taking the time, and anyone can make those recommendations. You can go to the next slide. Anyone can make recommendations of employees who are doing well. It can come from our community. It can come from our board members, from assistant superintendents, principals, and that should be sent to the superintendent or to the superintendent designee, which at this time is myself. When an employee is recognized, we will recognize them by giving them a personal thank you card. They will also receive a $25 gift card and a personalized certificate. We would also like to briefly recognize these individuals at our Night of Stars. Not that they would actually walk across the stage, but their names will be mentioned as far as people who have really demonstrated the skills, knowledge, behaviors that we're looking for in exemplary employees. We will recognize employees monthly at the board meetings. And those recognitions, again, can come through email. We'll also have cards that will be available that can be filled out to recognize the employee that has actually done a great job. And as with any program, we do realize that as we grow, this process will be reviewed, and we will look more towards a systematic approach to improve our employee morale and reward employees for what they do. So with that, today, not even today, we've had a really eventful week with the storm coming through, and we've had examples of many employees just going out of their way and really showing that their service comes naturally, that it really comes naturally. Today, we recognized maintenance employees and our transportation for the time and the effort that they put in through the storm. We've had employees staying late. We had employees finding ways to get other employees home. We had employees that did not even leave work until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, trying to make sure that every child got home safely. So we have some pictures available to show you of our recognition of our transportation and maintenance. They were extremely excited to be recognized. We gave them coffee and Danish today, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. Ms. Yost, I'm sure you can speak to what you saw at the North.
Absolutely, and as you can, this was a surprise. It was not planned, so we kind of caught our employees off guard, which is really nice to do when we say thank you, because they were not preparing in advance to step forward and support our students and staff members. They were so collegial during this storm, but we wanted to say thank you not only for that rain event, but also for everything that they do each and every day. We were fortunate to have 3 of our board members join us either at maintenance and or one of our compounds for transportation, north, south, and east compound located on the Port St. Lucie High School campus. So I want to thank Ms. Hilson, Ms. Hawley, and Mr. Ingersoll for joining us, and you can see that some of them are reflected in our photos. It was a great opportunity to interact with staff members, and I have to say that even though we provided the Danish, it was kind of comical when at the North County compound, I had created a faux pas in the eyes of some of our drivers when I was a principal years ago, in that they always want a buffet that includes a meat. And so when we only had Danish today, they were very rapid to remind me and inquire about where's the meat. So we'll have to include sausage biscuits or something in the future. So I'm sorry that I forgot that, but they were elated to have so many district level employees as well as our board members present to say thank you for a job well done. And I'd like to recognize Mrs. Patrick as well. This was one of her ideas, and we pulled it together in less than 24 hours, and oh my goodness, what a difference it made at those locations. So thank you, Ms. Patrick, as well as the others who came forward to support the initiative.
Again, we also would like to thank Michael Jacquin for the service that he gave us during our storm, going out to the different school locations.
Right, and Michael's in the background here. If you could stand, Michael. His construction company has been a partner with St. Lucie County Schools for years. And when you hear from law enforcement officers that they saw his staff and his trucks out at our schools at 2 a.m. in the morning on Friday morning after the storm, making certain that our facilities were in good condition, I'd say that's a phenomenal partner to have with us during that type of event. So thank you, Mr. Jacquin. We appreciate your support.
With that, that is my report.
Thank you. So this is the start of what will be ongoing recognition, and I thank Ms. Jerger for taking the initiative to bring this forward, and we'll extend our recognition of instructional as well as non-instructional employees on a regular basis.
Before we leave that, I would like to add on behalf of the board our sincere and profound thanks for everything that each and every employee did during the flood event last Thursday. It was such a proud moment for me to be sitting in that command central and to watch all the departments interact with one another in a very professional and collegial manner, with the one goal being getting our students and our staff folks home safely. Mr. Carter did a phenomenal job of coordinating buses to get back to pick up staff folks or children whose perhaps their parents couldn't get to them because of flooding issues. It was just a phenomenal, phenomenal success. And I am dearly indebted to our senior staff, Superintendent Yost, Dr. Rendell, for leading the team through this. But I do have one issue, Mrs. Yost. I think that perhaps we need to get away from the boat theme. Because maybe we need something with sand and sun for the next year, okay? I know, but indeed, but that boat
we needed it Thursday.
Our employees, they truly were
Indeed. Indeed. I think you must have powers to see into the future to know that that boat was going to be the symbol that we stood by this year. But again, thank you, Superintendent Yost, for your leadership. You had the team together and functioning within minutes. In the midst of all of that, a principal meeting was happening, so all of our principals were sitting where you are now, and it became command central, too, as they tried to communicate with their schools. So to each of you principals and to all the folks at your schools that helped you facilitate, thank you. We appreciate it so very much. Okay. Yes.
I believe that we would be remiss if we did not recognize C.A. Moore at this time as well, because they provided refuge for many of our students that could not be delivered to their residents due to the flooding, and we thank that faculty, staff, and I see Ms. Holmes in the audience. Thank you to you and for your leadership as well as your staff leadership, because you were with us here and you were facilitating that project. There's so many people. We just can't continue to say thank you to individuals. It took the village, and everyone stepped up as they needed to. So thanks to everyone.
Okay, we will move now to the CTA report. Ms. Rodriguez, welcome to the podium, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, Chairman Hawley, and board members, and Mrs. Yost. I'm going to cut short what I was going to say tonight because I'm not feeling well, so I'll be very brief. First, we want to add our thanks and appreciation to our union brothers and sisters in transportation, safety and security, maintenance, and facilities. The work that they did on Thursday, when everyone else was kind of focused on getting themselves home, and they were really focused on taking care of everyone else, is a job well done, and it's a job that they kind of keep doing. Every time we have a crisis, we kind of have this same conversation about what they do. So next time we get to the place where we're thinking about privatization or those kinds of things, I want you to remember what these folks continue to do for the district and the loyalty that they have to us as a family and employees. Also, I did want to mention, because I don't think this group gets thanked often, at least not really by the union for that, for quite honestly, the folks who were here at Command Central, we saw a marked difference, and I'm talking about Executive Council, we saw a marked difference in the way this situation was handled from previous situations, so it was clear that there was some learning that took place, and whatever protocols that you all worked on to make things better really worked, and it was noticed. We were out there sort of in the social media world, kind of keeping tabs on what was going on, and there was a lot of real positive things said. Now, so we do appreciate, we know that you all were here late, you were tired, you were stressed, you were worried about your own cars and everything else flooding out in that parking lot, so we do appreciate all that y'all do, so thank you. Ms. Yost, I want you to know, too, that I was at a school today, and a member of the maintenance department came up to me and was kind of like pulling on my shoulder. I thought, oh, here we go, you know, let me get my notepad and write down a list. And what he wanted to tell me was that you were at the shop this morning at 6:30 or whatever time it was to give them Danish and coffee. And he was just so amazed and thrilled that that was the second time he's actually seen the superintendent in person in his workplace. And he just could not say enough good things. And one of the things that he said that was so profound to me was that that did more for me than any written thank you, to have you actually be there. And so I want to applaud you and thank you for that. And I really do believe that that goes a lot further than a blanket email to everyone or whatever. And I guess that kind of brings me to this, which is about empowering and leading by example, because that's truly what you did today, and we've seen that now a couple of times from the leadership of the district. And there are lots of leadership books that talk about what leadership is and what it looks like, and there's all kinds of metaphors, and there's ships, and there's all sorts of other things. But the basic message is the same. When we empower people to be in control of the environment, and we give them the skills and the tools, and then we kind of let them really do it because we trust them, we get great results, or better results than we could even have imagined. When we try and force people to work together, we try and force our belief of what we think is going to make people successful, what we think they need to do to be successful. We sometimes get a fight back, and they won't do it, and then they're not successful. They won't be successful because they're trying to fit into a round hole if they're a square peg. And really most dangerous of all is just plain old compliance. And compliance just simply means that they're doing exactly what you told them to do, no less, but also no more. And when we micromanage situations, it's really a result of fear. And hopefully we're getting to the place in our district where we can begin to trust people to make good decisions about how to handle a flood, what to do at their school when they've got kids that need to get home, how to present fractions to their third graders. And really, if we back away from micromanaging and we kind of open it up a little bit, maybe we're actually hampering the results that we're trying to achieve. We talked today in our countywide meeting about some examples of how not to do that, how to take people's time and use it for less than purposes that they don't feel that they need to have their time used for. And I'm talking about, these data decorations that we're doing now, these huge posters with all this information on it that teachers don't see the need for. What they really want is the time to collaborate and work together. They really are begging for that time. And so when we keep talking about we don't have enough time to do the things that we need to do, I'm not so sure that we don't have enough time. I think it's how we're actually telling people they have to use their time that's part of the problem. So maybe we ought to start thinking about backing up on telling people what they do need to do with their time and actually let them use their time and be in charge of their time. I don't know where we got to the place in education where we believe that if we don't tell teachers what to do every single minute with every single piece of their time and how to write it in the box, that they're just not going to do anything. We don't work with a group of people that does that in St. Lucie County. We see that every time there's a crisis because they constantly rise to the occasion. If we just give them the opportunity to rise to the occasion in their classrooms, they will do that. So I'm kind of back to where I started, and that's with Mrs. Yost leading by example. If, as a district, we want to reach this level of unimagined success, we need to get off that plateau that we've kind of been on. Let's try changing how we manage things from the top down. And, your teachers are trying to jump through every hoop you're putting out there for them, and they are. They just may not be the right hoops. I think they know what hoops they need to jump through. And if we want to give principals the ability and the freedom to allow their teachers to do that, we have to have their supervisors give them the freedom and ability to try things at their school and not have it be coercive and punitive. As a parent, have you ever heard your child parrot back to you? Like you go, oh gosh, that was me, and that didn't really sound very good. We've all had that experience where your kid kind of reflects you back to you. What we're getting from our teachers is what we're giving. And so where there are places where morale is bad, it's because that's projected to them from their supervisor. And maybe that's projected to that supervisor from their supervisor. So we need to actually, all of us, take a look at what we're putting out there and give people the freedom to make mistakes and take chances and not just say we're doing that and then have them spend 6 hours putting together big, huge posters of stuff that's already in print elsewhere. But actually give them the opportunity to just do what they do best. In case of teachers, it's teach. In case of transportation, it's get kids from point A to point B, and we don't understand how they do it, but they do it. So if we want to lead by example, which I believe Mrs. Yost is attempting to try and do, then it does need to start at the top, and we just have to let it trickle down to those folks who are in the classroom who really just want to do the job.
Thank you. Hope you feel better. Anyone here from CWA tonight? Okay, don't see anyone. We then will move to our consent agenda, but board members, I would like to bring to your attention that we do have an emergency item to come before us tonight. It will not be part of the consent agenda, but rather will be voted on separately under other business, and that has to do with a waiver of the Friday for our students that when we didn't have school. It is not part of the consent agenda, though. Madam Superintendent, we will receive your recommendation. Oh, excuse me, before we do that, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented? Moved by Ms. Hensley, second by Ms. Hilson. Ready to vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Madam,
just said there's an error.
do you have them all registered, Miss? No.
You don't.
Okay. We may have
An error.
a technical error. Is it? Do you have 4 votes registered? Nope. Well, that was up there.
Yeah, I voted.
It just said there was an error. Do it again.
Well, I prefer that we see if there's glitches within individuals that we can. So can you put it up again, please?
Okay, mine went.
Okay, we have 8.1, adoption of consent agenda. All in favor? Well, I didn't vote and it went away. What do you have now? Oh, it's back up again. Okay.
I'm not voting again.
But it disappears.
I know. Well, don't vote, Troy.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just abstain.
Okay. Is it coming up again, Ms. Harrison?
I was going to get a snake eye view of it.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do we have affirmation of that, Ms. Harrison? All there? Yeah.
You got to really
You really like this agenda.
That's right. Third time's a charm, right? Okay. Madam Superintendent, we will now receive your recommendation.
I recommend that the board approve a total of 20 consent agenda items, beginning with number 9.1 and ending in 12.1 as presented.
Thank you. Board members, at this time, do you have any conflicts you need to declare before we vote? Hearing none, we have received the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Here's second. Second by Dr. Mills. First by Ms. Hensley. Okay. Before we receive final vote, board members, do you have any items that you wish to comment on? Any items you wish to remove for discussion and separate vote? Hearing none, our recommendation is for approval of consent agenda items. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Board members, we are ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Nothing. Okay. It's there? Okay. You have it all registered. Wonderful. Okay, we will now move to other business. And Madam Superintendent, we did change the numbers so that 13.1 is now the waiver request, and 13.2 will be findings of fact. So that will be 2 separate votes and 2 separate recommendations, please.
So we'll begin with 13.1. I recommend the board approve and authorize the superintendent to seek a waiver from the state of Florida for 1 student day as discussed and presented.
Madam Superintendent, before we move beyond that, would you go further to explain that we have met would still meet the requirements for minutes and that
yes,
sort of
ma'am.
thing, please?
There is state board ruling in Florida statute that outlines the expectations that we must meet prior to seeking authority for a waiver. And the waiver will be requested of the Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Pam Stewart. one of the recommendations, the criteria, is that we must not exceed the minimum number of required instructional hours during the remaining 179 days of school. And our Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Technology Services, Mr. Terrence O'Leary, has indeed worked with his staff and our data to evaluate the annual minutes for elementary, middle, K-8, and high school. The Bell schedules were evaluated to identify minutes provided for instructional time. They converted to an annual amount and then reduced that amount to consider early release days and the 1 day lost due to the flooding on January 10th. The resulting annual minutes for the 13-14 school year will still exceed the minimum statutory requirement of 720 minutes for kindergarten through third grade and 900 minutes for grades 4 through 12.
And I appreciate that explanation. I think it's important that our public realize we're not, we have enough minutes built into our calendar as it's presented every year to meet the minimum and exceed that as well. So we have a recommendation on the floor. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Ms. Hensley, second by Mr. Ingersoll, and we are ready to vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Got them all, Ms. All right. Good deal. Okay. We will then move to item 13.2. Mrs. Yost.
This addresses findings of fact, conclusions of law, and penalty. Conclusions of law and penalty and final orders. I recommend that the board approve stipulated findings of fact, conclusions of law and penalty and final orders number 261 through 279 as presented.
Board members, we have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Dr. Mills.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hilson. We're ready to vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We correctly reflect that.
Madam Chair, just for the record, historically the board has voted to determine that a matter qualifies as an emergency separate from the substantive action. Here the superintendent made all of the statements. It's all there, and I certainly wouldn't want to slow you down by having you have to vote again. But I think it's simply just so that the record is reflective that in this instance you voted both to declare the emergency and that the substance of the emergency was the authorization for the superintendent.
We're hearing you correctly. There should be a recommendation to place this on as an emergency item?
No. Madam Chair, Ms. Yost, you handled it very well. It was all rolled into a single motion as opposed to two. Right. And under the circumstances, I think the fewer motions might be better.
Yeah. The vote was to declare Friday as a result of an emergency and to request the waiver. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harrell, for that. Okay. We now will move to superintendent's report.
And after all of the recognition earlier in the board meeting, I'm not sure that there is much to say other than to add that we have received a certificate of recognition, again, from another source, being the our literacy partner, Scholastic, indicating that it is presented to the school district for our commitment to increase student achievement and provide access to text-rich environments that foster literacy success in the school, home, and community. And this is aligned with Literacy Month and Week, and I know that many of you have been invited, as I have, to join students at various schools throughout the district in celebration of Literacy Week, and I know that we will have some fabulous stories to share as we visit our schools and interact with students in the days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harrell, do you have a report tonight? Okay, we'll move to board members' reports, and Dr. Mills, we'll start with you tonight.
Been the quiet one tonight. First, I want to make mention of the Martin Luther King celebration that is already in place. Several of the events have happened up to date, and the remaining events is the Spelling Bee, the awards breakfast, the grand parade, and the festival in the park. And just want to inform the public, and as well as our school staff, that you can find the information on our school site online. So if you're interested in attending any of the events, this is the 30th anniversary of the continuing the Martin Luther King's vision here in St. Lucie County. And this year, the theme is continuing the vision through education and advocacy. So if you want to attend any of the events, and we encourage you to do so, because he was about people coming together. And so just look on our school site, and that takes me to acknowledging how well our school site, our online St. Lucie County Public School site is doing. You can find anything you need to find on that site. I want to give kudos out to our IT department and our superintendent, Superintendent Yost, because I have seen a tremendous improvement on the school site. Very open, anything, meetings, it's there. And it's very informative as well, and it's an extremely great improvement, and very happy with that. So thank you so much for taking time out to improve that site. Also, again, I want to thank all of those that were there for the storm, for our children, for the flooding. Several people that I know personally, cars were flooded out. My building was flooded out, so it was a real crisis, and for us to have come together as a school district and have done such a fabulous job in getting all of our children home safe, I commend you for that as well. I think I've finished with my comments tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Mills. Mr. Ingersoll?
Yes, ma'am. We had a professional development day, and I spent my day going through different schools. I want to thank Principal Young at Lakewood Park, setting the vision for her school and hitting one of the most important things that goes on in our schools, and that's absenteeism, and making it a point to reach out and connect with those kids. And I wanted to thank the principal for that. Then I made my way over to Northport, and they were working at Kids at Hope, and some of the teachers were doing classroom dojo training themselves, along with common planning in the afternoon. And then we made ourselves to Windmill Point with Principal Thompson. They were doing DQ1, DQ2, and question chunking. And there was phenomenal professional development going on throughout all our county. And I want to thank the people from the district going out, and also principals for making their time worth it. It's nothing like asking the teachers to have professional development and it not be relating to them. So I'm glad to be a part of those schools. Lastly, I'd also like to thank the Education Foundation, Jim McKenzie, and also Candace Stone for School-Related Employee of the Year. It was awesome. We have some good candidates, and I can't wait the Night of the Stars. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Ingersoll. Ms. Hensley?
Last Thursday started off pretty well. It didn't end up so well. I mean, as far as it's pretty interesting. But the Port St. Lucie Historical Society has a book that they wanted to put in the school libraries. And when it was explained to Mr. McAfoose that indeed we did not have the budget to make that happen, he set out to find the funding, which he did from the Lions Club. So Thursday morning at the principals' meeting, they brought in a DVD and a book for every library in the district, and a few extras for anybody who would want them. And now he's got a new project he wants to go further with, which was very nice to start building a different level of relationship with people who now have a strong tie to the school district. Also, the Children's Services Council resolution was accepted by the Board of County Commission and will be placed on the November ballot according to statute that was passed a couple of years ago. And there is a plan afoot. There's a community group that has come together and is working on a plan on how to make sure that indeed it is reauthorized for every dollar that we get in tax dollars at Children's Services Council. It is matched by a dollar brought down by one of our agencies. We served over 32,000 individual children last year. So it's a huge impact in our community, and we have 20-some years of statistics to show that the trend data is indeed very, very nice. So that's all, Madam.
Thank you, Ms. Hensley. Ms. Hilson?
I want to thank all staff that had anything to do with the flooding in the area where my preschool is. We were pretty much a lake, so I was very thankful that I was able to get home without flooding my little car. But it really does take a village to pull everybody together. Tonight I want to thank Michelle Jerger for taking on yet one more item with the STAR program. And I am such a big proponent of telling people thank you. And I'm just so conscious of this. I remember one of my daughters taught elementary and got lots of rewards and prizes and so forth. And my daughter that taught middle school, when the holidays came, she's like, people don't really think about middle school and high school teachers, except like you were that way, Mom, but most people don't. So I'm really conscious of the fact that many of our staff don't get those thank yous. And just the littlest things, and it doesn't have to be an expense, it can just be a card or of something of that nature. And we used to do the LAMP Awards, and I always thought those were just so nice. So I hope everybody will participate in this and give those little thank yous, because it goes a long way. And it is one more thing for you to do, so thank you. I wanted to thank Carly Fabricant, who's put together our wellness champions, and I want to thank any of our principals, any of our staff that are out here that have helped that to come to fruition. And as Mrs. Rodriguez said, if we don't show people what they should do, then they can't follow. And so with our wellness champions, they are actually showing our schools what's healthy, what's the right thing, and in showing our staff, we're showing our students, and it's just a plus for our whole community. So I don't see Carly, but we'll pass it on to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hilson. A couple of items to add. Dr. Mills mentioned the Martin Luther King Parade, which will be Monday, and just a reminder to board members that we will meet here in our parking lot at 8:45 to traverse over and get into line. And the good news is we will be in a boat, so if the waters rise again, we'll be ready. So I look forward to seeing. We need to be here, though, at 8:45 so that we can get our place in line over there. Saturday, under the direction of Mary Huffstedler, the Early Childhood Conference was held at Fort Pierce Central. It was phenomenal. Great turnout, great participation, great enthusiasm. So I wanted to thank Mary and Terrence and all of the group that was there that Saturday for the day, participating and bringing a lot of engaging things for our preschool and pre-K administrators. And the last thing I want to bring to everyone's attention is that Port St. Lucie High School, at the end of this month, will be having their 25th musical production. 25 years, and all under the direction of Patrick Madden. So I'm going to request that we have a designated night that all of us as board members and district staff and superintendent attend as a group and witness history in the making with the 25th edition. MAME is the production, and I will have Mrs. Yost circulate some dates, and those that can, please sign on to attend. I think it's really important that we honor this occasion. It's a phenomenal success, and as we all know, the tickets sell out rapidly despite adding show times to each event. But Mrs. Yost, if I could ask you to do that, I think it would be wonderful to attend.
And then
as a
we will
group.
also order a block of tickets so that we can handle that through the district office as well.
Great. And for the rest of you in the audience, please go to our district website. There are numerous dates that the production will be showing, beginning January 29th, I believe it is. 30th, okay. January 30th. If you will go to the district website, all the dates and times will be there, and also the various places that you can obtain tickets from. And also to remind everyone that this is National Literacy Week, and we look forward to being in our schools and sharing some reading time with our students, and just having a time to read with them it's always really good blood pressure lowering medicine for all of us. So we appreciate those opportunities. At this time, we have no other business to come before us, so we will bid good evening to our viewing audience. We do have one unscheduled speaker who has requested, and Mr. Sherrod is here. Mr. Sherrod, if you would come to the podium, and I will remind you that you have 3 minutes.